My husband handed me a warm cup of coffee one morning. His face was calm, loving even. But the first sip tasted off. Too sweet, too strange. When I asked about it, he just smiled and said, "It's coffee, honey." That's when I knew something was wrong, and I had the perfect person to test it on. My sister-in-law. If you've ever felt cornered, disrespected, or underestimated by someone who thought you'd never fight back, this story is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe for more spine-tingling revenge tales, and get ready for one of the most chilling paybacks ever brewed. Growing up, I wasn't what you'd call the loud or dominant type. I always stayed quiet during conflicts, avoided drama, and gave people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe that's why people like my sister-in-law, Melissa, thought I was weak. Melissa was the kind of woman who didn't just walk into a room, she conquered it. Loud, overbearing, and constantly trying to outshine everyone. From the moment I married into the family, she made it her mission to bully me. "You're too soft," she'd whisper when no one was around. "You won't last in this family." I'd hear her laugh with my husband in the other room about how emotional, or too sensitive, I was. And my husband, he never defended me. He'd just say I was overreacting. Years passed, and the emotional weight of always being the silent target piled up. They mocked my cooking, my looks, even the way I arranged furniture. It felt like death by 1,000 paper cuts. But one day, everything changed, with a cup of coffee. It was a rainy Sunday morning. I remember it clearly because of the thunderstorm that had kept me up most of the night. My husband, surprisingly chipper, walked into the living room holding 2 steaming mugs. "Coffee, sweetheart," he said. His voice was unusually chirpy. I reached out, thanked him, and took a sip. It tasted wrong, too sweet, not like sugar, but cloying, almost medicinal. My stomach turned slightly, and a sudden chill crawled up my spine. I looked at him. He just smiled. "Coffee, honey," he said, dragging out the word honey in a way that felt off. My eyes instinctively scanned the kitchen. My gut screamed something was wrong. And that's when it hit me. Melissa. She was coming over that morning. She always dropped in uninvited, claiming she wanted to check up on her baby brother. Really, she just wanted to flaunt her opinion on everything I was doing wrong. So I smiled politely, stood up, and quietly switched my mug with the one on the counter, the one intended for her. By the time Melissa showed up 10 minutes later, the plan was already in motion. I handed her the coffee with a gentle smile. "Here you go, made by your favorite barista, my husband." She rolled her eyes but took the mug anyway. She took a long sip. Then paused. What did you put in this?" she barked. "It's sweet. Like, weird sweet." Her nose scrunched up as she took another sip, this time slower. "It's like syrupy death. Is this some kind of joke?" My husband's face turned pale. He looked between us and tried to stammer out a response, but nothing came out. Melissa shoved the cup back at me. "This is disgusting." I just smiled and shrugged. "That's how he makes it. I thought it was for me originally." A silence fell over the room like a heavy blanket. Melissa's eyes narrowed. "Wait, what do you mean, originally?" I stared at my husband. I didn't need to say anything. He knew, and more importantly, he knew I knew. Later that day, when Melissa had stormed out and the house was quiet again, I confronted him. He crumbled, told me he'd read about a natural sleeping remedy, made of over-the-counter herbs and a hefty dose of honey. Said he wanted to make me sleep a little longer, so I'd stop waking up and annoying him during the weekends. Said he meant no harm. But we both knew that wasn't true. It wasn't about making me sleep. It was about control, about disrespect, about how low he'd come to think of me, like I was some broken toy he could just power off when I was inconvenient. And seeing his face when Melissa tasted it instead, that was the moment everything flipped. I filed for divorce within a month. And Melissa, oh, she never bullied me again. In fact, I think the experience shook her to her core. She's barely spoken to her brother since. Sometimes revenge doesn't need explosions. Sometimes it's a quiet sip, a raised eyebrow, and letting karma brew itself. In the end, I never had to raise my voice or play dirty. I just let the poison of his own actions catch up to him, through the lips of his favorite bully. The irony was almost poetic. And the best part, they did it to themselves. You know, people always underestimate the quiet ones. But when we rise smart. We rise calculated, and we let karma do the talking. If that revenge gave you chills, hit that like button and tell us in the comments, what's the most satisfying payback you've ever witnessed? And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more dark, delicious justice, served cold, with a touch of honey.